Okay, so this video is going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again Season 2. The show comes out tomorrow. I think we're supposed to be getting the first 2 episodes, or I don't know if we're only getting 1 episode or if we're getting 2 episodes tomorrow. But yeah, the show comes out tomorrow, and I wanted to make this video just talking about my excitement for the show, my, I guess, worries that I have for the show as well. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video talking about Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And just like getting into it, like I would say that I am a huge Daredevil fan. I would say I'm a pretty sizable Daredevil fan, I guess. I don't know. But I do know that like the Netflix, Daredevil show was how I got into Daredevil. That's how I became a Daredevil fan. And the performances of, Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock and, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin made me fall in love with those characters. Those, those particular, performances made me really, like, a fan of, those characters and stuff like that. And, ever since the Netflix show ended, we thought that, they wouldn't bring back, Daredevil, specifically the Charlie Cox version of Daredevil. There was always like a sense of like, okay, if they do bring, Daredevil into the MCU, they'll probably cast another person or something like that. And I was actually really surprised when like they announced, or like, I don't know when they announced. I think it was like a couple of years ago now, but like, his first, or I guess like Charlie Cox's first appearance was in the No Way Home Spider-Man movie, and everyone was so excited and surprised to see him in that movie. But like, it was actually like way more, surprising that he was getting his own Disney Plus show, and that it was going to be connected to the MCU, and that was super exciting and everything. And I was like, wow. I'm so glad that they're actually bringing back Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. But then I feel like me and a lot of other people started to worry, mainly because, the way that they were describing Daredevil Born Again, or the new Disney Plus show that they were doing, it wasn't going to be connected to the Netflix show. It wasn't going to be tied to, that particular, I guess, story or events, and it was going to be loosely adapting, the characters, and like they were going to be the same actors, but they weren't going to be the Netflix versions of those characters. And a lot of things, they were changing. Like I think at one point the actor for Vanessa was going to be played by a completely different, actress. I'm pretty sure, at that point they weren't gonna bring back they weren't gonna bring back Foggy or Karen, or the actors or the actress, the actress who played Karen and the actor that played Foggy. They weren't even going to bring back those, particular characters. So it seemed like they were picking and choosing what they wanted to bring back, and that led a lot of people to worry about if, it would be as good or even better than the original Netflix show. The original Daredevil Netflix show had such a certain vibe to it, had such a certain grittiness to it, a certain sense of like groundedness and everything. And a lot of people and myself thought like, would they be able to capture that in this new Disney Plus show? Mainly, considering that like, a lot of the Disney Plus shows that we were getting were way more, PG-13 and not like full on like mature rated R, like the actual Netflix show and everything. And so those were the worries going into, Daredevil Born Again, essentially. But yeah, but talking about, I guess, the first season, it's kind of weird how they call it the first season, even though technically it's the 4th season. I don't know why they didn't just call it the 4th season or like whatever, but I guess that's confused. I don't know, but like it's the first season of Daredevil Born Again. I remember, seeing, and at that time I just remember, watching through that show, and I enjoyed it, but I do remember vividly thinking to myself, okay, yeah, I liked this show, but it definitely wasn't on par with the Netflix show. And that was always the fear, that was always the worry, that was always the concern, that this wouldn't be as good as the original Netflix show. And it seemed like those worries were justified to a certain extent. You know, the show itself like went through so many changes, you know, because initially, you know, it wasn't going to be tied to the Netflix show, and then they announced that it was going to be not tied to the Netflix show. And just watching the show itself, you could obviously tell, and they even talk about this, or I guess the people who, you know, created the show, they talk about like, you know, how halfway through the show they had to change and get new directors or new writers or different people to like helm the project. And you could clearly see the difference in like tones and styles that the show was trying to go for. I mean, there are certain episodes that just feel drastically, I guess, I don't know, I want to say worse than some episodes, and you could just tell, and that led to a very weirdly just tonally and paced show, unfortunately. And I don't know, like I just feel like, I don't know, like it's just, I enjoyed, you know, season 1 of Born Again, but it just wasn't like, I don't know, it just wasn't it. But yeah, going into Born Again season 2 and seeing the trailers and seeing all the things that they had changed and made different definitely gave me more faith in the show. It just looking at the trailers and seeing just like, I don't know, it just feels like it has the right tone and vibe. You know, they're bringing back Karen. She's going to be more of a focus in the show. They're bringing back characters like Brett Mahoney, which in my opinion is just like a way better, just a way better version of Cherry, in my opinion. I don't know why they didn't just like I don't know why he just wasn't like, you know, just Cherry, like just literally replace Cherry with Brett Mahoney. Is just like, come on now. It's just such a missed opportunity, in my opinion. They're also bringing back characters like Jessica Jones, like, you know, they're actually, you know, bringing in like the other Defenders, and like, there have been rumors that they might bring back Luke Cage and Iron Fist, but that's not, I could definitely see them possibly showing up in season 3, but the fact that they are, you know, adamantly trying to connect this back to the Netflix series of shows by bringing back Jessica Jones, that is also a plus. But yeah, they even bringing back apparently characters like Wesley, and he was in like the first season, and he was basically like, you know, Wilson Fisk's like right hand man, but also like Wilson Fisk's like only friend as well, in a sense. But yeah, his character was just a better version of the guy that they had in Born Again season 1. I forget the character's name. I think it was like Buck or something like that, but he was just a worse Wesley, essentially. And so yeah, they're doing all the right things. The action looks good. I mean, the suit that they have, it's all black and everything. The suit looks cool, and yeah, they're doing everything right. I think my worry is that, like, yes, they're doing everything right, but will that still make for a good show? Like, will the fact that they're bringing back all these characters that they're bringing back all these characters from the original Netflix show, and they're actually trying to incorporate them into the story and everything, that is great. But like I said, like, I don't know, just the Netflix shows, and specifically season 3, because I feel like that was the season that really made me a fan of the show. Specifically season 3, there were certain scenes in that show, or certain moments in that show, that I feel like even though this is on the mature side of, you know, Disney Plus or just MCU Disney Plus shows, I feel like there was a certain writing, like just the writing in season 3, and for all the seasons, but like specifically in season 3, what felt so like Daredevil is, like, the Netflix show is such a great superhero show, but there were so many just great moments of it just being a really good TV show with great writing and great storytelling and great freaking dialogue.
I gave my sweat and blood and skin without complaint, because I too believed I was God's soldier. Well, not anymore. I am what I do in the dark now. I bleed only for myself. And I know my truth now. I'd rather die as the devil than live as Matt Murdock.
And it's not only just because they're was, or the show was way more mature. I mean, yes, the show was mature and it dealt way more with like adult themes, and like it was mature in its, you know, themes of like religion, you know, its themes of like justice, and its themes of like right and wrong, and like everything like that. That's what made that show feel so great. And I just hope that they're able to capture that in this new season, but we'll just have to see. But like I said, man, I'm excited for this show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm probably going to review it when it comes out. I don't know if I'm going to do like weekly reviews of like, you know, talking about like certain episodes as they come out, or if I'm going to do the thing of like reviewing it when all the episodes have come out. I don't know yet, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts and opinions on Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Are you excited for the show? Are you not excited for the show? Leave all your reasons down in the comments down below. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye.